hey, be quiet. Hello, hello. Oh, yeah. Yes, I see you. You hear me? Can you hear me? So I guess you can't hear me. I didn't get to didn't get to get my hair cut. He was supposed to be coming to cut my hair. He ain't showed up. Now I have to try to go to a barber shop. Can't have it like this for Christmas. I got too much hair. Yeah. Did he tell you you're going to the shop? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I waited so long before I came on, because I didn't want to start, and then he showed up. Guess it's me and you. Yeah. Um, I was looking at Brianna is having Brianna. Brianna is she's live, and she VS came in her chat, and her and there was two different women there on the screen yard, and they was fussing and arguing and cussing each other out and calling each other all kinds of names. They're still going. I was like, oh Lord. I was like, oh Lord, who is it? Yeah, that woman. It was hilarious, boy. They was cussing each other out. And Brianna was just letting them go. She cussed the hell out of them. Let's see who. Still just you? Okay, two people in the chat. Um, y'all hit that thumbs up button. Shakira forgot. Let's see how many. Did you see how many likes I had on that video? Last time I looked, it was 1,000. What was it? 1,200? I thought I can't remember. Or was it 1,063? Hello, hello. Hit that thumbs up for me. I appreciate it. Just cough. I seen Beyonce over in Brianna's live, but I didn't want to say nothing to her. Which I didn't go in there anyway. Marie says 13. It's 1,329 views. And I know. Let's see. B-Town said they're going to be over here. I don't understand this stuff with Rita about some emails. I don't know what's going on. We can stop coughing. Shakira, did you thumbs up? It shows 0 thumbs up. Yeah. Hopefully that other person, hit that thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. I hope I get my computer. Is Santa Claus bringing that? Got me all excited. This one, the battery, it's getting where it won't even charge. I think it needs another battery. So, my grandson. Let me see. I'm trying to wait on you. You heard me, knucklehead. Did you hear me? I think so. Probably ain't done. What today is Sunday? All right, I'm gonna start. Start. No, they said. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear? Or you just ignoring me? Are you there? Or you just not answer? Okay. Check what now? Oh. Are you in the chat or not? Oh, what were you doing? I was sitting here talking to you. I'm gonna start reading. I won't be here long. I'm just gonna read these. No, no, I'm just saying. Is Santa gonna bring my computer? Mhm. Mhm. I know it's somebody else. What you going? What you're going to read? I'm gonna read the story. Well, no. Uh, this one is called The Sunshine Connection. Uh huh. Yeah. Oof, got this doggone cough. Yeah, see. Um, what other channel? Come on, yes. Yes, what? The sun's the sunshine connection. Well, I hope I can stop coughing. Blessed be the Father. Oh, blessed be the God. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. The Father. Jeez. Let me try it again. What you took the... I'm drawing something. What you take the yes out for? Okay, I'm trying to get the sunshine connection. Blessed be the Father. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our afflictions, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in an affliction with the comfort with which our lives are comforted by God. 2 Corinthians 1, 3 through 4. When crisis comes and emotions crumble, questions multiply. We may ask, how can I cope? What next? God, where are you? Is there light at the end of this tunnel? The past 2.5 years, I have been acquainted with women who ask similar questions. When I know someone else survived an experience and I find myself in a similar situation, I feel that I can survive too. This is the reason I joined the Betco support group at Baylor in Dallas, Texas. It is my hope that sharing my experience with ovarian cancer will help you with your personal journey with this disease. I was caregiver for my mother for some years before a crippling stroke left her totally dependent on others for her care. My mother needed constant care for a year before the Lord took her home. My body was reeling from incredible stress, depression, and fatigue after Mom died. In August 2004, 11 months after my mother's death, I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer. I had visited my family doctor in June, July, and August 2004 with complaints of abdominal swelling, abdominal pain, swelling, indigestion, nausea, extreme fatigue, and the inability to empty my bladder. My doctor ran a urine test and said it was negative for any type of infection. He went on to tell me it was probably my age, 60 years old. I guess she was 60. And or the heat of the Texas summer getting to me. I thanked him and left. His office, knowing full well it was not my imagination. The doctor caught up with me before I left his office and suggested that I have a vaginal sonogram. I told him I had an appointment with my gynecologist in Dallas the next day, and I would ask her to do the test. After all, I was thinking, You have had 3 months to do something. That evening, I prayed for God's help. Unable to sleep, I got out of bed and looked for my Mayo Clinic health book. For some reason, I started looking at female cancers. There is, there it was, ovarian cancer. My immediate response was, oh my God, do I have ovarian cancer? The next day, as I drove to Dallas to see my gynecologist, all I could think was the possibility of cancer. As I told my doctor of my symptoms, not mentioning what I had read in the Mayo Clinic health book the night before, I saw the concerned look on her face. I could tell I was in trouble. Even before the doctor examined me based on my symptoms, she said she was afraid it could be ovarian cancer. The pelvic exam did not indicate any unusual findings. Off to X-ray, I went for the vaginal sonogram. When the X-ray technician was finished, she sent me back to my doctor's office. When Dr. Rowe entered into the personal office where I was, she chose to sit beside me and not at her desk. She took my hand and told me it was ovarian cancer. She went on to say it appeared to be late stage. I noticed tears collecting in her eyes. Thank you, God, for doctors who see me not only as a patient, but as a person. She told me that she knew a oncologist that would like to recommend for me to see. I asked her to make the appointment with this Dr. Fine, and left her office assuring her I was able to drive myself home. As I drove home 60 miles east of Dallas, I prayed for wisdom to tell my husband Jim and our daughter Stephanie about my serious disease. How can I cope? Prayer for me is very important. I immediately asked my family, friends, and my church family to pray for me and my family. I had surgery within 7 days of my diagnosis. I had confidence in Dr. Fine as my surgeon. After all, I had asked God for the best doctor and nurses to surround me. Family and friends took turns taking care of me after surgery. A couple of days after surgery, Dr. Fine came into my hospital room to explain to me what to expect in the upcoming months of treatment. He told me I would start chemo treatments within 3 weeks with Taxol and carboplatin, the standard treatment for ovarian cancer. Then Dr. Fine went on to tell me that he would like for me to go to MD Anderson for a protocol trial including high-dose chemo, autologous bone marrow transplant. To qualify for this protocol, I would have to have a second look surgery after I finished chemo. He also said he would like for me to talk to one of his patients who had finished the trial at MD Anderson. He said she could help me with valuable information. Debbie, the patient Dr. Fine told me about, called. She called after I was home from surgery. Her voice was so compassionate, and her story of experience was reassuring. She told me of her remission since her treatment at MD Anderson. She shared what I could expect there and helped with valuable information. Debbie also encouraged me to attend the ovarian cancer support group at Baylor. I had a second look surgery on February 14, 2005. All the biopsies showed no cancer. Our insurance said that MD Anderson trial was experimental and investigational and denied me coverage. My husband's company stepped in and made my trip to MD Anderson possible in July 2005. As I prepared for my Houston trip, I was told I would need caregivers for 9 weeks. My first thought was, where am I going to get all this help? My daughter in Indiana had 2 small children to care for. My husband, chief pilot for his company, could not be away from his job that long. The news traveled fast to family and friends for my needs for the MD Anderson trip. Hey, love, hey. Calls came pouring in. Within a very short time, my needs were met and a complete schedule of caregivers that included family and friends was in place. My husband filled in the gaps as needed. He came nearly every week to shuttle caregivers and encourage me along the way. Many others, too many to name, were so supportive with food, cards, and emails. The bond I share with all these people who bless me with their skills of caregiving is amazing. After 9 weeks at MD Anderson, I went home September the 2nd, 2005. I was very weak, but very hopeful that this treatment would allow me a long remission or even better, a cure. I just thought of something. I was supposed to be leaving a message for a chorus up under one of my videos, and I forgot which video. Shakira, can you look and see if you can find a chorus, a comment under one of my videos? I know she may. Well, a lot of people may be probably out of work. You hear me, Shakira? It just hit me. I just thought about it. Let's see. I went home September 2nd, 2005. I was very weak, but very hopeful that this treatment would allow me a long remission, or better yet, a cure. What next? In February 2006, my CA-125 was 12.7. This was great. Then a month went by and it was up to 17.2. Another month went by and it was 26.4. When the CA-125 reached 31.9 in June 2006, Dr. Fine said he believed I was in recurrence. My CT scans showed nothing for the past few months. Dr. Fine said, "Betty, we need to start treatment." I said, "Hold on. I need more than the CA-125 rising to convince me that it is back." A PET scan was ordered, and it showed a hot spot in my lower right abdomen, where the appendix used to be. The appendix was cancerous and removed with the initial surgery. Dr. Fine thought this was the beginning of my recurrence. I let him know I was ready for treatments. Hey Mason, how you doing? Glad to see you. Okay. Excuse me, trying to burp. I delayed treatments for a month. Good. I delayed treatments for a month. I had promised my two small grandchildren earlier in the year that they could come and stay with Nana and Papa for a month for their summer vacation. On August 26, 2006, I started chemo treatments. Dr. Fine's choice for treatment was carboplatin because my platelets went down to 18. He recommended a different chemotherapy. By September, after trying 2 treatments of Doxil, my CA-125 had risen to 108. Because of the rapid increase of my CA-125, the Doxil treatment was discontinued. My CT scan was still negative in November. This was very troubling because I wanted to see what I was fighting. In November, we started treatment of cisplatin and Gemzar, and my CA-125 was up to 147. By the time I had my second treatment using cisplatin and Gemzar, my platelets were down to 16. Another CT scan was done on January the 3rd, 2007. Finally, the cancer showed itself. Dr. Fine called me late that night to tell me that my CT scan was not good. He had conferred with another surgeon. The cancer was covering the left side of my intestines and colon. It was inoperative. Dr. Fine said that he would like me to see a Dr. Bevers in Houston, as he felt he had done all he could do for me. Dr. Bevers is connected with MD Anderson, and Dr. Fine said he would know of various trials available there. And he also specialized in unusual cases as such as mine. My husband and I stayed up most of the night. We held each other, crying and praying. God, where are you? That Sunday, Jim and I went to our evening Bible study group and shared the latest news with them. The women and men in this group have been our faithful prayer warriors ever since my diagnosis. That night, they all placed their emotions before God, asked for a miracle for me. After our prayers, I felt the peace that can only come from God. The next morning, I woke up and had the strangest thing happen. I felt as if someone had slapped me on my forehead. Just then, my thought was to go and see Dr. Bevers in Houston for a second opinion. A couple of hours passed. My daughter called and she had talked to Dr. Fine. He told her he really wanted me to go to see this doctor in Houston. Stephanie went on to say, "Mom, you need to get another opinion." The next day, I called Becky, one of the dear friends in my support group, and I shared the news of the CT scan with her. As always, she reassured me with scriptures of God's promises to me. Becky is always there with hope when I need it. She is amazing. You see, she has her own battle with ovarian cancer, but she always finds time to lift me as well as others in the group up when we need it the most. She is one of those helpers I prayed for God to send. Becky sent out an email to the support group asking for prayers for me. The next morning was a cold, damp, overcast day. I made a cup of coffee and went out to my back patio to talk to God. I reached up to the heavens, my hands outstretched, and cried, God, please help me. Send me some sunshine today to let me know you are here with me. I knew the warmth of the sun would assure me he was near. I finished my cup of coffee and prayers and went inside. Just then the phone rang. It was Becky. She called to make sure that I was okay. After we finished our talk, my phone rang again. This is Dodie, also from the support group. Dodie is a 17-year survivor of ovarian cancer. She is a beacon of hope for all of us. As we talked, she also encouraged me to go and see the doctor in Houston for another opinion. Dodie was sharing scripture with me when all of a sudden I realized that God had just sent me the sunshine. I had asked him for. Becky and Dodie were his gift of sunshine for me that day. I was still sitting in the rocking chair in my bedroom when another amazing thing happened. This brilliant sunshine broke out of the clouds, filling my bedroom with this luminous light. I choked back my tears. God is once again letting me know he is so very near me today. Thank you, God, for the sunshine, parenthesis, Jesus, that is in my life every day. My visit with Dr. Bevers in Houston went well. He said he believed the stem cell transplant with all the chemo had damaged my bone marrow. He did have some suggestions for Dr. Fine in reference to my treatment. I also had a call from Dr. Fine's office letting me know that my CA 125 had dropped from 149 to 63. It was amazing that the little chemo we were able to get into me was indeed working. Jim and I left from Houston with renewed hope for my treatments. I had two more cisplatin and Gemzar treatments, which were lowered by 20% per Dr. Bever's instruction. We really hoped this would not cause my platelets to crash. However, my platelets went down to 16. I had to have a platelet transfusion. 3 weeks passed with no chemo because my platelets were still down. In the meantime, my daughter and grandchildren came from Indiana for a visit I really needed. Dr. Fine and I were discussing my chemo schedule or the lack of one when I told him that my family was the best medicine for me at this time. I know he is really concerned for me not being on a schedule, and I am too, but I know it will all work out. Is there light at the end of this tunnel? Dr. Fine just called. I felt immediately it was bad news about my recent 125, CA 125. No, he is happy, really happy. Betty, I am looking at your CA 125 and it is 23. I asked him, "Are you sure? Um, are you sure you are looking at my lab work?" "Yes," he concurred. I started crying. I have not allowed myself to cry in front of Dr. Fine before now. I explained to Dr. Fine, "These are tears of joy." There was a pause. Dr. Fine said, "Well, I will go now before you have me crying. Is he not precious? As you face the hills and valleys set before you, it is my hope that this prayer will provide you with some sunshine along the way. God, you know my feelings are going to, God, you know my feelings are going haywire. They scream and shout that this situation is terrible and there is no hope. God, I hope in you. I can't see what you are doing, but I trust that you are working this situation together for good. Thank you that you have promised to use it to make me more like Christ. This is what I want. It just doesn't feel good today. Give me the strength to focus my eyes on you and not on what I see." And this is by Betty Skinner. Let's see who we got. Oh, Hazel. You stumbled in. Well, thank you for stumbling in. The next one is Shakira. Did you hear what I had asked to see if you could do? Uh, try to contact our quarters. Or at least leave a message, because I totally forgot. Up on one of the videos, I forgot. Okay. On a bumpy road with ovarian cancer. With Jesus driving and me, Dodie Stovall, riding shotgun. This journey of mine began in January 1990 when I went into surgery for a routine hysterectomy and came out with the diagnosis of ovarian cancer, stage 3A. I was put in the hands of a wise and wonderful oncologist, and we have walked this road together for 17 years while fighting for my life. Back in the early days before Taxol and all the wonderful nausea meds, I was given suppositories before and after chemo. I would go home and sleep for 18 to 20 hours to keep my body quiet and not be so nauseated. 2 months after surgery, after I had done 2 rounds of chemo, I asked Dr. Stringer if I could go skiing. And he looked at me, grinned, and said, "You can't stop living, Dodie, but promise me that you will stay on a bunny slope and don't fall on your butt." In my family, we say Buki. I took 4 more rounds of chemo, and then I was in a 6-year remission. Wow. A 6-year remission period. And dancing with Ned, which is no evidence of disease. Those are the acronyms for NED, N-E-D. No evidence of disease. At this point, my wonderful supportive family decided to give me a no more chemo party. Hey, shut up. And rented a big house down in the hill country. The in-laws and outlaws came to celebrate with costumes, songs, poems, and even a skit with Dr. Stringer, scrubs and all, chasing the so-called me with a huge syringe and needle that was a foot long. It was wonderful to feel good again. Then, during a routine exam, a tumor was found. Once again, I had surgery plus 6 more months of chemo. This time I got to take Taxol. My hair began falling out, and I decided the best thing to do was to shave it. I asked my husband Joe to help me, and he was appalled. I put a chair on the deck, draped a towel around me, and he started cutting until nary a hair was left. Then he took a step backwards, looked at me, and said, "Now, I don't want you Cavador with the Germans anymore." I laughed until I was weak as pond water. It wasn't long before the hair was coming back in curly. And once again, I was feeling good and started on another long remission of 5 years. 2 years later, I was on the road again with another recurrence. But this time, surgery wasn't an option, and we started playing the chemo game, some working and some not. Now, the goal is to keep me stable, and that's fine with me. Hope and stable are two beautiful words. While I was taking my first chemo, Dr. Stringer said he had plans for me to start working with his patients to get to know them and become their friend, since there was little or no support for ovarian cancer patients. This opened up a new ministry for me and changed my life forever. I saw everything clearly through different eyes as the girls was transparent, and I could see into their hearts and feel their fear. As I visited in the hospital rooms, seeds were sown spiritually and physically, and our bonds grew strong. Soon as Soon I was having luncheons for them and weekend retreats in my home. Another turn in my road came when the Baylor Ovarian Cancer Support Group was formed about a year after my original diagnosis, and that was a godsend. At long last, the girls had a place of their own to come and pour out their hearts. The group has changed many times through the years, and each girl has been unique and a real blessing. I've kept picture albums of the girls, and it's nostalgic moment to sit and look at each face and remember. In spite of all the needles, drips, nausea, lack of energy, loss of hair, and dignity, and the dread of the difficulty of dying, God always makes something good from something bad. So the blessings far outweigh the problems. We're here as a group to comfort and encourage one another. And I think we do a beautiful job of that. Each girl is so easy to love. So TLC comes naturally. We have to remember on this journey where we came from and what we've learned so we can pass it on to newbies and they in turn can pass it on to others. Before I even before I ever started this journey, my ticket was already bought by God's amazing grace through his son. So I'm really home free. Come on, climb aboard with me and let's travel this road together. And believe it or not, We're going to have some fun along the way, no matter how many bumps are in the road. And this was written by Dodie. Let's get some more. Hey, Shorty C. How you doing? How you doing? Glad to see you. We got this one is entitled Sailing, Sailing. I started my ovarian cancer journey on May 14, 2004. There had been no cancer in my family, so my annual gynecology appointment was quite a shock. I think I was in shock for several months. We had a vacation planned, leaving 3 days later. I opted not to tell Joe, my husband, the news until we got back. I worry about his working too hard, so I wanted us to enjoy the trip. I will always be glad it worked out. He had a great time, and so did I, on our cruise out of Galveston. My first operation was on June the 2nd, 2004. The cancer was stage 3C and quite extensive. I understand how important it is to have a oncologist take charge. I had never heard of debulking, but realized after much reading that it is a big factor. One ovary was against the colon, so a large section had to be removed and reconnected. 6 days later, the connection leaked and a colostomy was performed. That extended my shock. A reversal was discussed for the following summer, which gave me some hope. Hope is a big, strong word and feeling in this journey. I went to support groups near my home, but found a wonderful group at the Vecto Center at Baylor Hospital. I cannot find the words to describe my experience, but the group has done so much for me. I also joined the ostomy group that helped me settle down in that aspect. I got a book on traveling with a colostomy. In February, my doctor let me have a month off chemo to go on our annual sailing trip. I was on taxa for maintenance, and I did just fine. The colostomy nurse was so caring and helped me a great deal. Putting the bag on and keeping the skin clear was a full-time job. That seemed unreal. That seemed an unreal part of my life. I had the colostomy reversal that summer. During the last few months, I had developed a hernia at the site, and first of many hernias. Although the scan was clear, the doctor said he had found numerous small cancers during surgery. I was so disheartened to learn that the scan had been clear, but I needed to start back on chemotherapy. I finished that in October, and in January we went sailing again. There were 2 couples, and we were sailing in the British Virgin Islands. We were relaxed and had a good time. Joe and I make good crewmen. It was a wonderful experience. Returning, we shocked our family. Joe had grown a full beard, and my very short hair surprised them. We had been gone a month. I wish I had a picture of their expressions. I had been working out with a trainer before cancer and kept it up. She took it easy with me. I felt much better than I do now. I damaged some tendons and ligaments in my foot. I did not want to do surgery. I quit exercising, and that was a big mistake. I read many books on hope, spirituality, spirituality, and the mind-body connection. I feel a good outlook is essential. I was uplifted by cards and flowers from old friends and new. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks and enjoyed all the flowers. Now I have quite a collection of baskets. I appreciate life, friends, and family so much more. A good first read is Lance Armstrong's It's Not About the Bike. My third summer, I had a large hernia where I had gone through emergency surgery 20 years ago. During the surgery for the hernia, my doctor put in a port for IP chemo, intraperitoneal infusion. On my third treatment, we found there were too many adhesions, so it was back to the veins. So I was feeling awful, not eating and in pain. A scan showed a colon blockage and stones in my gallbladder. Of course, a hernia too. I went into the hospital for exploratory surgery. I had lost a lot of weight, so I had to build my body back up. I had the surgery for the blockage the day before Halloween. The IP tubing had been wrapped around my colon. My chemotherapy had been interrupted, so I was off schedule. I opted not to go on annual January sailing trip. It was the first one we had missed in 10 years. It was a good thing we stayed home. On January, where's that? Oh, hey, of course. Hello, what is that? D World. Nice to see you. Glad you made it, of course. Um, I opted not to go on our annual January sailing trip. It was the first one we had missed in 10 years. It was a good thing we stayed home. On January 14, 2007, I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery. The surgery started at 6 in the evening. It was supposed to be 2 hours, but went for 4.5 hours. I have to thank my husband Joe for his help, cheerfulness, and good humor. I cannot imagine going through this without him. I enjoy being spoiled. I rest, play Sudoku, and read. I don't cook. Joe does cook. And he was glad when I started going back to the grocery store and cleaning the kitchen. He appreciates how much there is to do in a home. My children have been here for me. My sailing buddies have taught me how to be a hugger. My retense son even hugs me now. God, good things do come out of bad. My daughter plays Sudoku and likes to read, so she is good company. My children, their spouses, and my grandchildren have all done this share. I enjoy their company. I didn't dwell on my fatigue. It's always been there, some days more than others. I like the saying, the new normal. This is so true. I am on single chemo agent now, Gemzar. I realized as I was writing my story how much I have been able to do in spite of ovarian cancer. I have a wonderful family and friends, and my good humor is a gift. On most days, I am selling. And this was written by Jill Park. Let's see. Let's see. These readings we had several. Who who was who was reading the? Oh, you were talking about me. Okay. Did I miss anybody else? First time. Okay. Well, welcome to the world. If this is your first time. Of course, you didn't get the notification today either. Probably not. Yeah, heard talked about me last night. Oh, what? I'm talking about because you always saying that B Town is she either going to sleep or she sleep. She stayed up a while. She must got a good sleep because she didn't go to sleep. She stayed up pretty late with us. Hey, B Town. Oh, okay. You was in her chat. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Let me see, can I find a story in this book? Since some of y'all just coming in, I came in and you locked, and you looked up and my phone went out. Oh, really? You talking about me? Let me find, since y'all just coming in, I'm gonna find y'all another story. Oh. And what I'm about to say, it's not for anybody in particular, but there are some people that don't. I guess they don't. Maybe they can't sit still to listen to what I'm reading, and so there's always gonna be somebody that don't either, don't want to hear the reading. And so for anybody that don't, they can leave, leave and come back later, or just leave and come back tomorrow, But I'm going to read the stories, because that's what has been placed on my heart to do, to try to help women. And so for anybody that they see that I'm reading and they want to leave, and that's fine. And I would I would tell them to do that. Oh, you did? Oh, okay. I didn't know. See if I got it. Let me see. No. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, so, it's going to always be somebody that don't appreciate it. Even with them being women. Thank you. I appreciate it. Even with them being women, you would think um, that they could at least appreciate being able to, find out informative information, but it doesn't go like that all the time. Hold on 1 minute. Let's see. Did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Oh, I was buffering. Yeah, because I went to do something. I didn't miss. Did I miss anybody? No, I don't think so. Uh, I thought maybe Dark and Lovely was here. She usually be at work at this time when she come in and she come out. But yeah, I just wanted to say that it's none of the people that's in here, but we know it's always somebody that's not going to appreciate uh, something that could possibly save their life, or another woman's. So I just wanted to say that. Oh yeah, yeah. She's a sweet woman, definitely. Like all the rest of them that I got in here, they are definitely sweet people. Okay, this is life, lost and found. At the beginning of 2005, I was a bright, single, ambitious 31-year-old woman with her whole life ahead of her. I had just bought my own home, a cute 3-bedroom house in a growing neighborhood in Waxahachie. At Compass Bank, I had worked hard to move up and work on a larger loans and hopefully get noticed by the power players at the Dallas headquarters. While I had worked several months to arrange a transition between departments, it took less than a month to realize I had made a big mistake. In my old department, I had a wonderful boss and great coworkers whom I still keep in touch with to this day. I knew the new department had difficulty in the past reaching its goal, but I was convinced I could help them and it would be great. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. Very soon, I was miserable and secretly looking for a new place to work. I was going on job interviews all over the country while calling in sick to work. So when I felt a lump at the bottom of my neck one day while sitting at my desk, I thought, well, I've been calling in sick and saying I was going to the doctor. So I might as well make an appointment for a checkup. I hadn't been to the doctor in over a year because I only went when something was wrong. I considered myself to be pretty healthy. I was a black belt in Taekwondo, and though I had continued to practice, I still thought of myself as healthy, strong, and independent woman. I called the doctor's office and made an appointment for Thursday afternoon, March the 3rd, 2005. When the doctor came in and asked me why I was there, I casually commented that I felt it was time for a checkup. And besides, I had two small things going on, a tiny bump on the back on my back that seemed to be a clogged pore that wouldn't go away, and this swollen spot at the base of my neck. He looked at the bump on my back and quickly dismissed it as a small cyst, probably made from my bra strap. But when he checked my neck, he became more concerned. After asking me tons of questions that I answered while thinking he would soon narrow it down to some easy, non-threatening health concern. The doctor scheduled me to go to the hospital next door for an ultrasound on my neck and a CT scan. During the ultrasound, the technician called in a doctor to take a closer look. I wasn't concerned and thought nothing of it. The technicians told me I would need to see my doctor the first thing in the morning. Again, I didn't get it. I cheerfully told the technician I would, thinking the doctor would tell me it was nothing. One of them even asked if I should call someone to pick me up. I still didn't get it. The next morning, March the 4th, 2005, I drove to the doctor's office and called work saying I would be a couple of hours late. Little did I know, the receptionist and nurse quickly got me to a room, and soon the doctor came in. I really can't say that I remember he said besides that awful, terrifying words, "You have cancer." He had already made many arrangements for me, told me several times what I needed to do next. Go to the hospital and get my scans. Go to a lung doctor in the building, and then go to an oncologist. I guess he kept repeating the instructions because he could see I had gone into a confused daze where his words just weren't sinking in. Finally, he wrote it down on a sticky note. Now that I'm writing it down, the instructions seem simple. Grab your scans and go see 2 doctors. But nothing was getting past this pounding in my head that seemed to be beating cancer, cancer, cancer. And that was all I could hear. I took the sticky note and a deep breath and walked out of my regular doctor's office and into a new chapter. No, a brand new book. One that I have a new regular doctor. Let me see. Did I skip? Oh, no, a brand new book. One that I and others like to call The Journey. I haven't seen that doctor since that day. I have a new regular doctor now. My oncologist is Dr. O. I didn't make it to work that day. I didn't go for 2 weeks. I grabbed a copy of my scans at the radiology department and headed to the pulmonary doctor. Okay. When I walked in and talked to the receptionist, a nurse walked up and said, "Oh, this is the woman they called about with a pleural effusion that will need a thoracics." Now, if you aren't schooled in medical terminology like I wasn't, the nurse was saying I had fluid on my lungs and they would be removing it shortly with a long needle in my back. While running all over the hospital, I had begun to calm down and started telling myself that when I visited these doctors, they would be clearing up this whole mess and telling me I was fine. That didn't seem to be happening. Before going to the next doctor by myself, I called my friend Elaine, who had lost her mother to cancer. I said, "I think they are saying I have cancer." The next thing I knew, she was standing by my side when the nurse called us back at the oncologist's office. While we sit in the exam room by ourselves, I remember trying to explain what all had been said and done so far from the appointment the afternoon before to around 11 a.m. the next day. I probably didn't make much sense because I was in shock and denial. So when the doctor walked in, Elaine immediately asked, "Does Karen have cancer?" I remember the oncologist getting this look like, "Hasn't this been explained to her yet?" She said yes and took out the scans I had brought. She then showed us a bunch of white spots in the chest and said, "Cancer, cancer, cancer," while pointing to the different places I had tumors in my lymph nodes. What? I spent the weekend at Elaine's house, calling people and trying to understand what was happening to me and what was about to happen to me. We didn't know what kind of cancer I had, but since I smoked, I was convinced I had lung cancer and felt incredibly guilty. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it very much. Appreciate it. Did I miss somebody else? Oh, the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, well, thank you, B-Town, for bringing. Thank you. I was terrified, but kept telling myself I deserved whatever I got for smoking since I was a teenager. I remember that when I first started calling friends and family to tell them what was going on, I felt that I was lying every time I said I have cancer. I'm missing back. Okay. The doctors initially assumed that I had lymphoma, but that I would need a biopsy of the tumor at the base of my neck to determine what type of cancer I had. I am either very blessed or very lucky to have a best friend from junior high, Teresa Hill, who happened to go into oncology nursing and also happened to be brilliant. I'm positive I'm still here today because of the things she put into motion. She continues to be one of my best friends and my health advocate, helping me weave my way through the healthcare system. I called Teresa and told her what was going on. She immediately went into action. Teresa helped me make appointments for a PAT scan, biopsy, port placement, and the meeting with the experienced and caring oncologist whom I could communicate easily with. She also helped me convince my mother that I did indeed have cancer and that she needed to come help me. My mom was also in denial and kept thinking I would call her back and tell her there had been a terrible mistake and everything was all right. It took several phone conversations with Teresa's explaining things because every time my mom asked me, I would downplay the seriousness of what was happening. After a quick 2 weeks of scans and testing, I had an appointment with my oncologist to go over the results. It seemed that everyone everyone else except me knew that I had something even more serious than lymphoma, but I couldn't imagine anything worse than a cancer diagnosed at any kind. With my mom, Teresa, and another childhood best friend named Holly in attendance, the doctor informed all of us of the diagnosis, stage 4 ovarian cancer. I could tell Teresa and the doctor looked much more concerned over this diagnosis than over the initial assumption of lymphoma. Okay. I kept feeling that they thought things would be so much easier if it was just lymphoma. I couldn't understand why I kept getting this feeling from them, but I was trying my hardest to ignore it and to ignore the fact that they were telling me about this disease. I felt relieved that I didn't have lung cancer, but I had been blaming myself for getting cancer. But the more I listened, the more it sounded as though I might have the most dreaded of all cancers given the survival rates. I started chemotherapy the following week. What I know now as the standard treatment protocol is carboplatin and toxicity. The plan was to start with chemo first and then have a hysterectomy and debulking surgery soon after. Meanwhile, at home, I was driving myself into paranoid frenzy by looking at statistics and stories about ovarian cancer on the internet. I would call Teresa at all times of the day and night in a panic over something I had read on the internet, and she would patiently calm me down by letting me know that the statistics were a few years old and that I didn't fit into the normal range of ovarian cancer patients, and many other facts that helped me not to have a complete meltdown. I don't know if any amount of talking or counseling really prepares a woman to lose her hair. I know I was not prepared, but I tried. I went to a wig shop with my friend Elaine during our lunch break before I lost my hair and burst into tears when I put on the first wig. I tried to stop crying and could see that I was making the girls in the shop really uncomfortable, but the tears wouldn't stop coming. For most of my adolescent and adult life, I had kept my hair long and straight, so seeing myself in the shorter wig really didn't sit well. I gingerly tested my hair every morning when getting ready for work, and just as the doctors and nurses had said, I woke up one morning, got in the shower to get ready for work, tested my hair, and it came out. It came out. All I had to do was lightly run my fingers through it and then look at my hand to see it was full of hair. I cried so hard for so long, and then I called in sick. I just couldn't put on that wig and walk into that office. Not yet. I told myself I could get through this and that it meant the medicine was working. I gave myself a whopper of a pep talk and went to work wearing a wig the next day. No big deal, no big deal at all. I had 4 chemo treatments and no results. My CA 125 continued to rise. I started getting scared again and tried to think of anything I could do. So many people told these miraculous stories of people they knew going to MD Anderson in Houston and being cured of cancer. Many times I would tell people what was going on with me, and so many times the question was always, have you gone to MD Anderson? I became convinced that if I went, the doctors there would be able to perform a miracle and pull some treatment out of a hat that would cure me of cancer. I was able to get an appointment with the head of the gynecology oncology department, and then found out a group of doctors would be reviewing my case. I was so excited and thought for sure they would find something all the other doctors so far had missed. I had pinned a lot of hopes on this, So I was crushed when the doctor informed me that the review board agreed I should continue my current course of treatment, and just wait and see. Wait and see. I just could not believe that doctors at the great and all powerful MD Anderson didn't have a cure for me. This sent me into deep depression. I decided I would sleep through my 32nd birthday on June the 4th. Definitely a first because I love fireworks. Luckily and thankfully, two of my very close friends could see how low I was sinking and rescued me. They planned, they changed their plans, came to my house, and took me out to a Rangers game. When I look back on that day, I think how low I was. I thank God for my friends and recognize that He sent them to me that day and used them as hands to scoop me up and stand me up again. At the next doctor's appointment, I started on antidepressants. In, in between my 3-week treatments, I was traveling the world, visiting my mom in the Bahamas and going on any vacation with friends that were available. I had stopped working after the first chemo treatments. I missed more work than I had planned, and corporate policies made it necessary for me to take the next step and go on short-term disability. My boss at the new department I had transferred to was unconcerned and unsupportive, so it was actually a great relief to go on disability. I kept telling everyone who asked that I would be back to work in a few short months. Just as soon as I was in remission, wishful thinking. My whole identity was tied up being an up and coming female banker. So it took a little while to get it through my brain and accept it that I might never work again. I soon became unable to take care of my house and was dependent on friends and neighbors for my lawn upkeep and any repairs that came up. Also, I had taken a 40% pay cut to go on disability, so I really needed to sell my house. I rented it out quickly and moved in with a friend in Dallas. Things were changing fast and furiously, but I was rolling with the punches. By September 2005, I had received 8 chemo treatments. During the 6th treatment, I had an allergic reaction and passed out. I had to be rushed across the street to the emergency room. I received the 7th and 8th chemo treatment in the hospital over a 24-hour period infusion instead of the normal 2-hour period to prevent any more reactions. In October, I had the surgery, a hysterectomy and something, the removal of the ovaries, and debulking. Debulking means the surgeon removed all the visible cancer he was able to. The surgeon came out and told my mother he had left a few tumors that were too close to my arteries to safely remove. Other than leaving those tumors, the surgery had gone very well, and I spent the rest of the year recuperating. In January 2006, I started chemotherapy again. The doctors all recommend that I receive a year of maintenance chemo, but by April, I had had enough. During the first few chemo treatments, I just had a few bad days at a time, and then I started feeling better. The joke about receiving treatments every 3 weeks is that they wait just long enough until you feel better and then wham, they hit you with the next one. Am I buffering? I'm good. Okay. Okay. But after the fourth maintenance chemo treatment in April, I just didn't bounce back. I had slowly gone from a few bad days to bad days every day. I felt as though I had the flu at all times. My bones ached terribly, and I had several neuropathy in my feet. I had severe neuropathy in my feet. I requested that we stop the chemo, and my doctor did so because my CA 125 was below 10 and there was no visible cancer on my scans. Once I stopped, everyone wanted to know if I was cancer free. I kept asking my doctor if I could tell them I was. I wanted so badly for him to say yes. You are cancer free. Let's celebrate. But those words never came from his mouth. After a couple of months of my CA 125 remaining below 10, he said I could tell people I was cancer free, but I could tell by the way he spoke that it was not this great celebration that I and so many others wanted to hear. Before, and just in case anybody leaves, I just want to tell everybody that super chatted me, Cash App or whatever. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate it, and thank you. Okay. Then I found that once I started telling people that I was cancer free, they thought it was all over and I was supposed to go back to life as usual. I wanted to very badly, but life certainly was not as it had been and never would be. I spent the entire rest of the year trying to recover from the chemotherapy. I tried water aerobics, physical therapy, water therapy, chiropractic care, supplements, etc. I wanted to feel better, but nothing was helping. Once I went to the emergency room for the pain in my back and was treated like a drug addict who just came in for a shot of pain medicine. That spared the another deep depression. I was supposed to be celebrating life and celebrating being cancer free, but the physical pain in my body and my very low stamina made it impossible. I felt that no one understood. It was such a lonely place. Many nights I cried myself to sleep. It took until February 2007 for me to realize I was starting to feel better and was soon noticing I had more good days than bad. I felt that I was coming back to life. My CA 125 checks and doctor appointments had moved from monthly to once every 3 months. So I had stopped bringing someone to every appointment. No need to get a friend to take off work to come with me for a standard checkup. That's what I was thinking when I went in for my appointment in March. I'm starting to think there must be some kind of jinx that I get bad news when I go to the doctor by myself. The oncologist walked into the exam room and told me that the cancer was back and that I needed to start thinking about what treatment we would use this time. I was so shocked that he wasn't shocked at all. He said my CA 125 was in the 30s. So I had time to think about it, but that I needed to start coming monthly and that we would start chemo treatment again in a few months. This time I had the gift of time. I started looking on the internet and trying any and everything I found that claimed to cure cancer. I spent hundreds of dollars on supplements and powders and tinctures for several months while we all watched my CA 125 continue to rise with every blood test. By November, it was time to start some type of treatment. I asked my doctor if we could look at clinical trials before doing more chemotherapy. And though he was not excited about my testing unknown drugs, he agreed and contacted a doctor with Mary Crowley Research Center. I went in for an appointment and testing and was given the paperwork for a phase 1 drug trial. The doctor I met was very interested in nutritional approaches to cancer treatment and was open to discussing the supplements I had been trying. I told her I was interested in visiting a place in Austin called Optimal Health Institute, where one received holistic treatment while eating only a raw vegetable diet. Is there anyone buffering? Yeah. Yeah, if y'all buffering, let me know. She acknowledged that it might help and that we could put off starting the trial until January 2008. I went for 1 week in December 2007. I had a wonderful and relaxing time and came back expecting to start the trial in January after the holidays. But when I went in for a blood test, I found out my CA 125 had dropped 30 points. Nothing except chemotherapy had made my CA 125 go down. So I was ecstatic. I withdrew from the trial and went back to Optimal Health Institute for 2 more weeks in January 2008. My CA 125 continued to drop. All my other blood tests showed improvements as well. It was wonderful and I felt incredible. I applied to serve as a missionary or working guest and starting in the middle of February. By April, my CA 125 had gone down again and all my other blood tests were in normal ranges. I was healthy and becoming cancer free. It was simply amazing, and I was losing weight and increasing my stamina as well. I became so confident that I skipped my monthly blood test in July. When it came time for testing in August, I went to a lab in Austin and asked my nurse to just fax the results to me because it would be hard to get to Dallas for an appointment. Another crack in the universe. I picked up the fax and almost fainted when I saw that my CA 125 was 230. The normal range is 0 to 35. I almost think sometimes the cancer has a brain because it figured out how to get around what I was doing and start growing again. I drove to Dallas for a CT scan and knew there was a problem when my doctor called me just a few hours later. By now, I've learned to look for signs that there's a problem. If they call the doctor in for a second look, if they start patting you or say they are sorry, there are others. The doctor said I have fluid accumulating around my heart and would need to get back to Dallas immediately for treatment. I went back to Austin and tearfully packed my belongings. I was so sad, so angry. The first Monday I was back, I went to Baylor's Ovarian Cancer Support Group. I needed these women to talk to to cry with to understand. I went into the hospital 2 times for the fluid around my heart and started on a clinical trial chemo drug in September. I kept going to the meetings every time I could make it and started seeing a psychologist as well. I finally got past the anger. I'm back to being so thankful for the life I've been given and thankful for the amazing women in the support group and in my life for saving me and supporting me at all times. I continue to fight the fight and be a survivor. And this story was by Karina Perkins. Questions. Gee, I thought back. My phone was dead. Oh, whose phone was dead? Oh, Love Blake, your phone was dead. Well, I do appreciate the women that do enjoy the stories. I most certainly do appreciate it. I appreciate y'all coming in and sit and listen. Because if you didn't, I would still be sitting here reading to myself. Me and Shakira thought it was going to be just us. She said, well, look like it's going to be me and you. I said, yep. Thank you, Aquarius. I do appreciate it. I just want to, I seen, what's the Aquarius, what's her name? Beyonce knows. I seen her in, Brianna was having a live, and I seen her in there, and I really wanted to, want to know how her mother is doing, but I didn't, I didn't say anything. I, I went to her page and I was hoping that there was some way I could, leave her a message, but she didn't have anything on her page, so I couldn't leave. But yeah, I just wondered how she's doing. And then Mimi, I think I did. I think I talked to Mimi. Yeah, because tomorrow is when um, she's gonna try to get an appointment for. Now, which one was it for her doc? Which one was it? Mimi that said. Was it, no, it wasn't Mimi. Mimi has the 16-year-old daughter. I think Mimi has the 16-year-old daughter um, that had some symptoms. So she's trying to get an appointment tomorrow for her daughter. And let me see, what was the other one's name that? I'm trying to think. Let me see if y'all may know it. Yeah, Mimi was the one that she was getting. What is that other woman's name? Do y'all remember? Oh yeah, Shay Jones. Yeah, Shay is the one that she was having some of the symptoms. I didn't see her today. Okay, so Shay Jones and the other one is Mimi. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, did I do something wrong? Oh, y'all was buffering. Oh, what is it? The world? Is it, what? Yeah, the world. Oh, she left. She or he, I guess. I didn't know if it's a she or he. So we has to. It was real chat. About to tap out. Okay. Okay. I think I got everybody. Yeah. So that is our story. Oh, he left. Oh, okay. Oh, it was a he. Okay. I'm surprised he stayed. He stayed that long. You know, men are probably they'll be probably talking about. I don't want to sit and hear about that. but, but he may have a wife, so or daughters or something. But yeah, I don't know. I appreciate y'all hanging in there with me, coming and listening. Cause believe me, every woman don't want to sit and listen to that. But thank you, D-Town. Yeah. And like I said, even if I didn't have nobody in the chat, I'll be sitting here reading to myself. hmm Reading it and then post it. But I was waiting on my barber to come and cut my hair, but looked like he stood me up. So I still got a head full of hair. But that's why I came on so late, because I was watching. I watched you. Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was waiting. That's why I waited so long, and I came on late because he was supposed to have been here. He said 9:30, but you know that's the way it goes. Okay. I was over looking at something. Brianna was having a live, and she had some people on her chat, and one of them was VS must have had was having it out with one of the women. It was crazy though. I mean, they were sitting there going off on each other. Brianna couldn't even say nothing. She was like, what am I supposed to say? I mean, because they was going at each other big time. And I was like, ooh, child. It was. Yeah. Because that's the thing. Most women think that, hey, Diamond, how you doing? Did you watch Boss Lady? No. What was her video about? I guess everybody wanna do late night. They want to do late night talking, like five comments at 5, like the cop. Going at her. Why would they go off on the boss lady? Hey, Dabin. Oh, okay. She can't see you, but she said, hey. Yeah. It just, so did anybody watch that video that they was making, that people was talking about they was drinking and smoking, and then was out driving and had the little girl, had Princess in the car, because everybody was harping on that. Yeah, Dimitri. Dimitri, she's funny, funny and loud. Yeah, that's all I heard today was about that. Uh, her being, I don't know if they was unfit mother because they was drinking and smoking and then out driving around. Had the little girl in the back seat. I was like, oh well, you know, um, that's to be expected. If that's what they was actually doing, did they not know that YouTube, the people in this sector, who's gonna go straight to that? Oh Lord, she must have been lit. Yeah, so I was like, child. So did anybody see the house? They were saying something about she must have took them to see the house she's moving in. I know she's probably happy. Um, the Fabe supposedly is moving in a house. She done got a house. Mm. Yeah, because I think from what I heard somebody saying that they had went over to the house that she's supposed to be moving into. I guess she was showing them and her mom or something. Yeah, I didn't see it either. I'm not looking at their videos. Um, but yeah, that's what they was talking about. And you know, Red Pill was, you know, she was on it. She's like, I told y'all. What do you think? Y'all paying for that house? What you talking about? Yeah, she using our money to pay for that house. I was like, oh Lord. Yeah, I wouldn't have done. I would not have done that. She already, she already knew that they was already accusing her of using that money for the attorney to take her daughter to Disney World or Disneyland, whatever it is. So you go up and put it on video the fact that you've got in a house, you got to move in, and you know right where people's mind is going. Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing they said. See, y'all done paid all that money. She's using that y'all's money to pay for her house. I was like, oh. Mm-mm. Driving, he hadn't drinking, but he only smoked. So soon, he hadn't drunk much, only smoked. So soon was cigarette smoke. What is she supposed to do with the money? The deposit money. I think the $200 is going to be is the $200 is supposed to be for all the activities that they're going to do, that they're going to be attending or going to. So I don't know how they think she can spend it. So when it's time to come, what are they thinking? She gonna try to replace it? She gonna put the money back, or the $200 is not really gonna cost $200? I don't know what they're trying to, but you know how people are. I don't know. And then, oh yeah, and butter. What about butter, Miss B Time? She's using the meat and Greek money for her move. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were saying. And I was like, oh Lord. So where were they going? Was it just what's his name uh was it was 5A in what's that boy's QB in the child, or that um oh okay. I didn't know where they was going, because like I said, I didn't watch none of the videos. Have any have any of y'all read in those comments that they made up under my video? Wouldn't mind meat and green, but oh, my sister, she wouldn't mind meat and butter. hmm I don't think you want butter. Saying it for months. She been saying what? Cause remember when she had moved her furniture and she had painted that one wall. Red Pill was talking about that. So y'all just gonna drag the child. But if I don't know why she felt the need to record that, because you know people gonna come up with something to say. But did any of y'all see BJ? Is that her name? Oh yeah, BJ. Her video. Supposedly they call it the greasy receipts. I don't know. Maybe she has some food grease or something. Look at y'all, but she they said they pulled up the receipts or something, and it wasn't a receipt. It had I think it had the attorney's. It was on the letterhead, if I'm not mistaken, of the attorney. But then they said it was not a receipt. It was actually it was a collection notice from the attorney's office for the $4,000, saying that she didn't pay, and she's behind on the payments now. I don't know if BJ. Why that don't sound right? Because it's Billie Jean. Well, I don't know. I mean, something didn't sound right. I have to beat Wally to the jump. Yeah. So that is what they said. Those receipts was not receipts. It was a collection notice, because she was behind on the $4,000 for the attorney fees. or the attorney, I guess, whatever attorney she used. And so, you talking about them folks were laughing. They was laughing all hard. And Red Pill, you know, she was laughing. She was laughing so hard, Collins told me, I told y'all stupid. I told y'all stupid people. She just stole your money. I was like, oh my goodness. How can you how can you be that careless to give a for a receipt, you give a collection notice letter saying that you behind on your payments for this attorney office. Hmm, allegedly, that's what they said. Well, I don't know if it was. I didn't see it, but yeah, that's what Red Pill was laughing about. You know, she was. I told y'all stupid, giving this woman all y'all money. And y'all really think y'all gonna get it back? She told, I live in Chicago. I know how Chicago W's. Or if you want to spell it with a H, WH. I know that's what they do. I was like, child, I don't know nothing about that. I mean, like with Corning, you know, she went on about her $50, and Sean Bradley wanted his $50, and it's like, okay, $50, but I'm like this: if you donate to the cause, whatever they say the cause is, then it's like, why so worried about to get $50 back? It's gone. If it's gone, it's gone. Whether she used it to hire an attorney or not, we probably would never know. So I wouldn't be so pressed about that $50. Talking about she had Leo at Disney World with y'all money for the attorney fee of $4,000. Well, I was like, okay, whatever. Mm. So, did any of y'all go to her what was that, fact check Friday? Well, did you listen from outside, Love Blake? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I didn't either. Hey, Tom, what'd you say? You say Tracy? Tracy what? To who lied? What's her name? Um, Five Babies. She did her fact check Friday. I know I didn't. Dr. Lovely, are you there? Are you at work? Yeah, I like Dr. Lovely. I appreciate her. She always um, she'll run in and run out. I I didn't know that was her that was that was arguing with uh what's the name? BS. Boy, if you were seeing that, that was wild. They were going at it. That, that if you want to laugh, you go watch that replay. If Brianna can still have it up. um, VS in uh, Dark and Lovely film. Yeah, Dark and Lovely film. The one that comes into the chat. Mm-hmm. It was hilarious. I mean, they was like acting like dogs and cats. They were calling each other all kinds of stuff. Oh, dude. But because I didn't think it was the Dark and Lovely that comes in our chat. But after I sit there and waited a while, I was like, okay, I don't know nobody else that named Dark and Lovely film. But it was. She told me, yes, we can meet. We can meet. No, that is, yeah, it's funny. Oh, he just did one live today. Oh my. He's slowing up, ain't he? He ain't got all them folks in this chat like he's had before. They slowing them down. Doing something else. Probably left and went to James Caldwell. Mhm. 141. Okay, now go out here. All this. Yeah. Oh, good read. Had a good read. Yeah. Yeah, I said that about the book because some people come in and I start reading and they'll leave. All right, lovely. I don't think nobody else is up on it. Yeah. Late night beauty and chat blazing. Everybody want to do a late night like me. Somebody's even got close to like my after dark. I was like, okay, they're trying to copy us. They're trying to copy us. Is it still live? Wait a minute. Uh, are they still live on the Brianna's thing? It says 662 people. It's all kind of off. Oh, yeah. I know it because, shoot, I didn't go to bed until this morning. I think it was 6 or 7. I was like, what the heck? And I forgot I didn't take my medicine. Yeah. Let's see what this is. That video I made, I got 1,329 views on it. Mm-hmm. Yep. 1,329. I guess James was resting today. He didn't do no videos. Well, thank you, thank you. I didn't know I was gonna do all that. And then I get some people, like Jay Wilson be saying, writing them long paragraphs and dissertation. They like they're writing a book or something. And I try to answer, which I do. I respond to any and all, when somebody responds. But some of the people on there, they have them long comments, and some some of them I just skip. Skipped a couple because I wasn't finna be arguing and going back and forth. I said a little something to one of them, and she wrote back this long thing, and I just said, I appreciate um, everybody's comments. To the time, like, no. They keep asking me the same old thing. Yeah. Well, looky here, dark and lovely. How you doing? Glad to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. Even though we finished reading the story, but you can always catch the replay. Well, then you over there fussing with the VS. Oh my goodness, I was laughing. Happy holiday, happy holiday. And I didn't even know it was. They were telling me that Christmas was 4 days away. She came for you. Honestly, she just let loose. Yeah, you had me laughing. Yeah, I was at it. It was hilarious. Is she still alive? Brianna's still alive? It says, yeah, it says live now with 662 people watching. Unless you got somebody else different up there. She came for you. I told you I'm running yours. Mm. Mm. Oh, don't play this. Oh, she said, okay, she said something to you. Yeah. Because I couldn't imagine. I didn't think it was. I'm thinking, no, it can't be the dark lovely that come in our chat. Yeah. You need two playlists. Yeah. I'll run your playlist. You never seen me like, no, I ain't never seen me like that. Mm-mm. I thought it had to be somebody else. And then I, she kept saying the name, and I was like, oh, I guess it is. I was like, oh Lord, she get entangled with her. Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah, dark and lovely is nice. She always be sweet to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still run yours. When you end your live, don't you at the end of it once you hit okay, it says to stop recording. Can, uh, you look and see. I'm ready for it to be over. All of it. I'm not a holiday person. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. What was I saying? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. All right, all right. Computer. Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Cause I usually would get a lot of presents. She would buy me all kinds of presents. I'm a gadget person, and so when she run into some new gadget, I always get it. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Hmm. Yep. And a couple of cars. Mm, yeah. But that's the way it is. Yep. And holidays won't be ever be the same. But yeah, yeah, I'll be okay. Smart because yeah, she said I was a lot sport. It was her fault. Okay. You talking about at the end of your live when you hit for it to end, it'll give you it'll tell you how many playbacks that you have, how many times, uh, like say for instance you got two people, or just yourself or whatever. It'll tell you how many playbacks you had that people looked at you. your videos, and then it tell you how many watch hours and some other stuff. How many minutes your video were, and some other stuff. Your husband like that? Was far? Yeah, yeah. I was a lot of spar. That's how she didn't want. She didn't want to go nowhere until she uh, found somebody, as she called it, take care of me. Spar, spar, spar. Yeah, I would get all kind of candy. She go somewhere and something strange, something different. I'll be eating it and saying, "Why'd you do this? You know I don't need this." And she be like, "Give it back to me then." And I be like, "Mm-mm." Yeah. Yeah. See that. Yeah. So that's, I'm like that too. She know I like gadgets. She go looking for or either watches, cause I have lots of watches. She she'll buy me another watch like I really need it. And I bought. Well, she don't act like a kid when she get hers. She be like, oh, okay, put it over there. And I be like, what you know? What? Look at her. She be like, I'm not you. I'm not you. I don't get all excited and be skinny and grinning. She said, put it over there. I get it. I be like, just take all the surprise out of everything. Like when I bought her ring, I was out. I was all happy. She did not wear that ring not one time. Now the one she bought for our ceremony, she wore that one. But I brought her a diamond solitaire. She ain't put that ring on not one time, and I'm glad that she didn't. She didn't put it somewhere where I couldn't find. Because I told her, you I guess I'll be buying my cat's outfit. Oh, oh, you got cats. Oh, yeah, all my little dogs. But yeah, I was like, you put them rings where I can find them. Say, leave it right here. Leave it at her sister's house or something. I was like, and they not getting none of your jewelry. She's like, well, why? You don't need two of the same rings. Yes, I do. It's yours. The other one is yours, and I have mine. But I'm keeping yours too. Said, yeah, so they can what? Sell it. I said, nope. Yep. Some coffee. No, I don't need no coffee. Shakira had me stand up till this morning at what time? I think it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The sun was already up. It was daylight. I was like, oh no, ma'am. No cat lady. Oh hell, I guess I'd be the old dog lady. Old dog lady. I know my little dogs be glad when they can have their house back. Yep, they'll miss them boys if they was gone. I'd be like, mm-mm. Mm. What make you mad? On this hair. I just really thought I was gonna be, hair was gonna be gone. Just get the clears. Hair be everywhere. I hate when I have too much hair. I can't do it. It start to curl up. And that'll be all I can do. B-Town, did you watch Daryl's videos he did today? What is going on with jobs? I'm gonna get off of here in a little bit. Do you know what's going on with jobs? Have you fell out with Conscious TV? Let me take my medicine, cause I'm not gonna be staying up. Hell, I forgot today was Sunday. It didn't seem like Sunday. There's this this woman on here named Jessica B. Uh, she left a message, uh, com- comments. She said, you and I have always bumped heads in the chat, mainly in Fabe's chat. I'm a former supporter of hers and started seeing reckless, spiraling, malicious antics from her, and I could no longer support. And then he said, wait a minute, so covered up. And then she says, and she also came for Miss Olivia for no reason. But this is really a humble video. Thanks for speaking out. Happy holidays. That's somebody that, yeah, she said something to me in 5A's video. I mean, 5A's chat. And I just had to cuss her out. Because that live is too long. Which one? Which live is too long? Talking about the one about 5A? It was only, it's only like 31 minutes. Mm, That's short for, our lives be long. 6 hours, 4 hours. So 30 minutes is short. Lovely, it's too long. Or just listen to part of it one day and part of it the next day. Oh, Brianna, yes, it is. It's still going. She's still alive. Do you know how long she was on that live before I came on? And she had been on there long before. Uh, that's crazy. Still alive. She must ain't got nothing. Well, I don't know if I can talk. If I had a room to talk, because my video. What do you say, reader? You fumbled the play. Dark and lovely steps on the scene. That's the name of it. No, it ain't just long to you. It is a long one because it was that. That's on what time was it? It's 2 o'clock. Yeah, that was way earlier. This is when she started. I wouldn't be surprised if she had no damn 10-hour live. The dark and lovely steps on the scene. I would have never believed or thought that it was dark and lovely film. Oh my goodness. She got 200 thumbs up and 3,047 views. Oh, is it still live? Let me see. No, I guess maybe it's just still showing live. I was about to say. To see what it is. Mm. And then at the end, he just came back on the top. All right, Duck and Lily. Like, I'm sorry I said you was a crackhead. I shouldn't call you a crackhead. And I said, I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I'm apologize to you because I called you a crackhead. And I just bust out laughing. How you gonna call it this? Oh, I suppose you take my medicine. Don't call that woman a crackhead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, there it is. Oh, it's too long. Because she did. No, what she thinks? She must be on vacation. Make no noise. My dog's going to sleep. This is one of the rings he had me made. Pretty dang. Got a badge on it. Yep, she got me that. this is this is one I bought her. The one I said she never wore. Oh, I'm trying to see that. I was trying. I did. Yep, she will never wear it. There's two pieces to it. Mm-hmm. So every once in a while, I put it on for her. Yep. It's a 7 or 6, 6.5, 7, something. Yeah. Well, I must not got enough sleep. I know I didn't. 'Cause these kids are out for school, so I can't sleep. It ain't like I can sleep late. Cause as soon as my dogs hear them, then they start barking, waking me up to let them go outside. Um, usually the one that be spoiled is Onyx, but now Justin is spoiled. He he done got used to being in my room, laying on the floor by the bed, all of them. And when he go I let him out to go to the restroom. And sometimes I want peace and quiet in my room without them. You dodging. And when I let him go to the restroom, when Justin come in, he comes straight to my room. Like I say, you don't got too used to that. He comes straight to my room. The rest of them may go to their dog pen that's in the living room, the little thing they have. Not him. He come right on in here and get on that floor. I put a blanket down for him, and he. I said, "Oh no, you don't got too used to it," and he will do everything so he can come in here. He go up under the couch. I said, "Nope, you have gotten, you have got used to coming in my room, laying down." And Onyx, she go jump up on the couch. Mm-hmm. Spoil. Mm-mm-mm. Shakira, you sleep? She probably sleep. I know I'm gonna sleep good because I can feel that sleep coming down on me. Mm-mm-mm. Lay here and watch, some crime show. I don't know what it's called. Sound like unsolved. It sounds like unsolved mysteries. Mm-hmm. Yep. Let me put this, set this up top of it so it could run. Yep. Yep, right here, a little free truck. What's wrong with you? Who is this? What's wrong with you? What are you doing? You get the. Come say, come say hi. Say hi. Say hi to him. Look at it. Just fall. Say hi. Say you got a lot of hair. Say I got a lot of hair. Say hi. If you sleep, why you didn't have to go inside? Or did you wake them up? Okay, let me see. Go outside. You going inside, P? Hmm? Or you gonna sit right there? Keep them occupied. I'll go see if Justin. You can go outside. Say hi to him. I'll be right back. She done brought her butt over here. Oh, well, y'all. I guess I'm gonna get off of here so I can lay it down, get me some sleep before them kids wake up. And I guess we can see tonight, see each other tonight later on and get some sleep. All right, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later on. Y'all have a good night. All right. GB Town and Love Lake and Aquarius. And Shakira probably knocked out. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later.